Welcome to If Then. I think it's 108. Don't quote me on that. It's a little different today. This is gonna be verses. This is gonna be A versus B. And hey, if you like both of them, then go buy both of them. This is the first one in the series. This is a little further along in the series, but this is an excellent series. So hey, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christine Carras. Tina. This way, read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy stuff going on here. And we're going to see if I can do this without laughing and screwing the whole thing up. Can I make it through this without laughing and screwing the whole thing up? All right. So Jana will go first. Um, I didn't even make any notes or anything for this, so excuse me. So Stephanie this is the very first book in the series, and if you haven't seen all my reviews for these books, please go check them out. There'll be a list of all the ones you can watch, all 30 of them. But this is Stephanie's first day on the job as a bounty hunter. She got fired from her lingerie job at the department store, and she's now going to be a bounty hunter. So this is her first day on the job as a bounty hunter. Grandma Monsieur, we have her parents. We have Ranger and Morelli. Morelli's a cop, a Trenton cop. Ranger is in security. His character will eventually grow. And her mother is forever. Oh, Stephanie is divorced, and her mother is forever setting her up. Trying to get Stephanie married again. Like her sister, although her sister's marriage goes to hell in a handbasket too. But this is Stephanie's first day on the job, and she went home. No, this is dinner. Her mother has her come home for dinner. My mother was standing on the porch steps when I parked at the curb. She was waving her arms and shouting. I couldn't hear her over the roar of the engine, but I could read her lips. Shut it off, shut it off. Stephanie has a broken muffler. It happened on Star Street. Vandals. Her car's got graffiti. I pushed her into the hallway before she could read the words. Wow, nice sneeze, Grandma Monsieur said, bending down to take a closer look at my ooze. I was watching some TV show last week. I think it was Oprah, and they had a bunch of women on with knees like that. Said it was rug burn. Never figured out what it meant. Christ, my father said from behind his paper. He didn't need to say any more. We all understood his plight. It's not rug burn, I told Grandma Monsieur. I fell on my rollerblades. I wasn't worried about the lie. I had a long history of calamitous mishaps. I glanced at the dining room table. It was set with good lace tablecloth. Company. Her mother's got company coming over. It's company, no big deal, my mother said, going to the door. I guess I can invite company into my own house if I want to. It's Bernie Kuntz, I said. I can see him through the hall window. So what's wrong with Bernie Kuntz? To begin with, he's a man. Okay, you had a bad experience. Then don't mean you should give up. Look at your sister Valerie. She's happily married for 12 years. She has two beautiful girls. Yeah, one who thinks she's a horse. And that's getting kind of old. That needs to go. That needs to go soon. It's been 30 books. The kid still thinks she's a horse. That's it. I'm leaving. I'm going out the back door. Pineapple upside down cake, my mother said. You'll miss dessert if you leave now, and don't think I'll save some for you. My mother didn't mind playing dirty if she thought the cause was worthy. She knew she had me locked in with the pineapple cake. A plum would suffer a lot of abuse for a good dessert. Grandma Monsieur glared out at Bernie. Who are you? I'm Bernie Kuntz. What do you want? I've been invited for dinner. Oh, okay. Helen, there's a guy at the door who says he's been inviting to dinner. I've known Bernie since he was 5. I'd gone to school with Bernie. We ate lunch together, grades 1 through 3. I would forever associate him with peanut butter and jelly on Wonder Bread. I lost touch with him in high school. I knew he'd gone to college, and after college he'd gone to work selling appliances for his father's store. So they all sit down to dinner, and the parents are quoting Bernie's attributes, and her mother is happy that he drives a Bonneville. A Bonneville! Imagine that, Grandma Monsieur said. My father kept his head bent over his chicken. He rooted for the Mets. He wore Fruit of the Loom underwear. He drove a Buick. His loyalties were carved in stone, and he wasn't about to be impressed by some upstart of a toaster salesman who drove a Bonneville. um, My day hadn't exactly been a success, and announcing to the world that I had was figuratively a fugitive apprehension agent seemed presumptuous. I sort of work for an insurance company, I told him. You mean like claim adjusters? More like collections. She's a bounty hunter, Grandma Monsieur announced. She tracks down dirty, rotten fugitives just like on television. She's got a gun and everything. She reached behind her to the sideboard where I'd left my shoulder bag. She's got a whole pocketbook full of paraphernalia. Grandma Monsieur set my bag on her lap. She pulled out the cuffs, the beeper, and a travel pack of tampons. Now you're sitting down to dinner with your parents and a potential boyfriend who your mother's setting you up with, and your grandma empties your purse, and there's handcuffs and tampons. They kind of go different directions, but anyway. Um, And here's her gun, she said proudly. Isn't it a beauty? I have to admit it was a pretty cool gun. It had a stainless steel frame and carved wood grips. It was a Smith & Wesson 5-volt revolver, model 6838 special. Easy to use, easy to carry. Ranger got it for her. And he said it was reasonably priced. It was $400. My God, my mother shouted, put it away. Someone take the gun from her before she kills herself. The cylinder was open and clearly empty of rounds. I didn't know much about guns, but I knew this one couldn't go bang without bullets. It's empty. There are no bullets in it. Grandma had both hands wrapped around the gun with her finger on the trigger. She squinched an eye and sighted on the china closet. Kapow! 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 My father was busy with the sausage dressing, studiously ignoring all of us. I don't like guns at the table, my mother said. And the dinner's getting cold. I'll have to reheat the gravy. This gun won't do no good if you don't have bullets in it, Grandma Mizor said to me. How you going to catch those killers without bullets in your gun? Bernie had been sitting open-mouthed through all of this. Killers? She's after Joe Morelli, Grandma Monsieur told him. He's a bona fide killer and a bail dodger. He plugs Ziggy. I knew Ziggy, Bernie said. I sold him a big screen TV about a year ago. We don't sell many big screens. Too expensive. He buy anything else from you, I asked? Anything recent? Nope. But I'd seen him sometimes across the street at Sal's butcher shop. Ziggy seemed okay. Just a sort of regular person, you know? No one was paying attention to Grandma Mizor. She was playing with the gun, aiming and sighting, getting used to the heft of it. I realized there was a box of ammo besides the tampons. A scary thought skidded into my mind. Grandma, you didn't load the gun, did you? Well, of course she loaded the gun. Yes, ma'am. Are you enjoying the story? Well, of course I loaded the gun, she said, and I left the one hole empty like I saw in television. That way you can't shoot nothing by mistake. She cocked the gun to demonstrate the safety of her action. There was a loud bang, a flash erupted from the gun barrel, and the chicken carcass The chicken carcass jumped on its plate. Holy Mother of God, my mother shrieked, leaping to her feet. Knocked her chair over. Dang, Grandma said. Guess I left the wrong hole empty. She leaned forward to examine her handiwork. Not bad for my first time with a gun. I shot that sucker right in the gumpy. My father had a white knuckle grip on his fork, and his face was cranberry red. I scurried around the table and carefully took the gun from Grandma Monsieur. I shook out the bullets and shoveled all back into my shoulder bag. Look at that broken plate, my mother said. It was part of a set. How will I ever replace it? She moved the plate and we stared in silence at the neat round hole in the tablecloth and the bullet embedded in the mahogany table. Grandma Monsieur was the first to speak. Someone Pass the potatoes. I'm hungry. Okay. Now, Fortune. Fortune is a former CIA agent. She was on the run. Um, there was a price on her head, and she's hiding out in Louisiana. And she's made friends with Gertie and Ida Bell and uh, everybody else in town. And see if I can find this right page now. They've decided to she has a bucket list and she wants to jump out of a plane. So they're up in this itty bitty plane and they're going to jump. When we circled back around downtown, Bruce turned and yelled, "Going to get rough." "What?" Gertie yelled back. "You're up." She jumped up from her seat and hopped in front of the exit. I leaped up to stop her, but at the exact moment we hit the patch of clouds that Bruce had seen coming. The plane dropped, then bumped right to left, pitching Gertie out the exit. I didn't even hesitate before diving out after her. The clouds blocked my vision for a couple of seconds. Then I fell out of them and spotted Gertie below me. She appeared to be in good shape so far, her arms out and her body in good position. The question was where she was going to land. I looked down and spotted Sinful just a bit to our west. Winds were out of the east, so it was likely she was going to land somewhere near downtown. That could be good or bad depending on her exact landing spot. Landing in a backyard versus the middle of an alligator-infested bayou with limited access would be good. Landing on power lines or someone's lit barbecue pit would be bad. The ground was rushing towards me, and I checked my altitude. Any second now, Gertie would deploy her chute. We were still east of downtown a bit, and the winds had remained mild. But once she pulled the chute, it shouldn't take much wind to move her considerably toward the downtown area. All I could do now was pray for no wind and hope she landed in a clear patch. Birdie's chute deployed, and she instantly righted and slowed. I waited another couple of seconds, getting as close and safely as I could, then deployed my chute. I looked down and saw we were drifting slightly toward downtown. So far, no gusts. I hoped Gertie had realized she was far away from the landing zone and was prepared to direct the chute. But given her questionable vision and refusal to upgrade her glasses, that was a big if. I can do this. There's my co-host. There she is. All right, let me go back to this. We were only seconds from landing when the next gust hit, lifting us both up a little and pushing us into downtown. The bayou disappeared, and the steeple of the Catholic church rose in front of me like a giant skydiver catching rod. I saw Gertie grab for the toggles to change the direction of the parachute and held my breath as she narrowly missed catching herself on the structure. I cleared the building and scanned the grounds behind the church for a clear landing path. Unfortunately, the grounds weren't empty as normal. In fact, they were full of people. People, tables with food and drinks and chairs, tents, and one of those bouncy houses. It was some sort of party, and it was a big one, with at least 50 adults and children occupying a relatively small space, and we were only seconds from plowing into all of them. Someone on the ground yelled and pointed at us, and people began to scatter. Unfortunately, no one knew which way to run, so they tumbled over one another and didn't manage to get out of the way. Gertie was coming in too fast to make a calculated landing, and I could tell by the way she was yanking on the toggles that she was having trouble controlling the direction of the chute. Even worse, there were power lines behind the church grounds. One good gust would put her right into them. There was no way I was going to catch her dangling in the air, so I did what any CIA would do. I yelled a warning for those below, then released myself from the chute and dropped onto the bouncy castle. Unfortunately, kids were